we made a farmer as a champion, farmer as a trainer. So that actually reached the farmer very quickly. So we started the field trainings like that only. Even field demonstration also. We brought even one of the guy who is standing near me is Arunachalam, our tutor Arunachalam. He closely traveled with the Nammalwar for many years. So I brought all the techniques from Tamil Nadu to train the people over there. So after that, we have done lot of every level. Not only generally, we travel with the NGOs also very closely, but we used to plan with every level. We used to go with the farmers also. We used to go with the department expertise also. We used to talk with the higher level officials also. So that policy level intervention also very much needed. Why I am saying this is in usually the cooperative societies are used to give the loans. In our district also it was like that only. What they give is if they give 1 lakh rupee loan, the 20,000 rupees they used to give compulsory chemical fertilizer. You have to take that. Then only you can get that other part of the loan. So we started working out on that, and we started educating the farmer as well. At the same time, we started convincing the higher level authorities that, sir, why should we decide that what the farmer should buy? You give, if you want, if you give that also in the as a cash. If you want, you can buy any other input for as a organic input or anything like that. So we convinced and we completely changed the policy only for Dantewada district when we reached some scale. Next. So regular, even we talked up to the agriculture minister, chief minister. We try to talk with every vertical, every stage. We had a dialogue. Next. And we always wanted to, even earlier put also you might be seeing, whenever every CM visit or any political authority visit, we used to make our farmers also in the center stage so that they should get the visibility. So that also we time to time we did that. And this is also the Lok Swaraj, and this will take some time because while we have mentioned compared with Sikkim is what we have done over the years. It's started by me, but I put the base system over there in place. And Swaraj is one of the volunteers. He came as a prime minister and he stayed back. And after my tenure also continued. I also one for the collector got transferred. First thing when I called the collector and wish him congratulations. After that, I have immediately briefed him what are the things to be done on this front, especially for the organic front. So many collectors are continuously followed up this thing so that now almost we have reached around 60,000 hectares under certification area. So which is larger than entire Sikkim state cultivation area. So that's what we wanted to bring into your attention. Next. So this is one of the emotionally connected photo for me because when I got transferred, of course I got some of the awards for integrating the national Narega with agriculture and so many things. But one thing I always feel proud about proud about one thing is when I got transferred, almost more than 500 farmers came to just congratulate or just to give farewell, and they have given that क्या बोलेंगे कुल देवता बोलते हैं उसका मतलब they used to give the first harvest to the kul devata. So all the 500 farmers brought 1 kg of dhan. So my farewell gift was almost 500 kg of dhan, so with all the farmers blessing. So I take this as a bigger than any award and bigger than any blessing. So that was one is another guy is incoming collector. I am that time I was without Gadi, so he couldn't train. So that was the time. So why I am telling all this is the Jevik Karyakarta, community resource persons. We run the entire program along with the community. It is not just collector's order and it is not single one person's dream. We made it as a dream of entire community. Next. So this is the little big table, but you can red line you can find it out. These are the cooperative departments that chemical fertilizers they used to supply. in that particular year, you can see the rest of the comparing to all other districts, the entire Dantewada was zero. So this is the main change we brought into the district that this what's power of the policy makers. When the policy makers decide, they can easily bring up the scale. So this was very one of the biggest supportive decision for us. Next. So after that, the second phase, even after I gone back also, whenever I used to get into any of the forum, I used to tell even when I meet in with higher authorities or any other persons, I used to tell these are things we have done in Dantewada. So they got interested and they wanted to visit that particular place. So these are the things why I am telling is it's not only about just pricing about each other, pricing about their self-trumpant. It's not like that. It's actually we wanted to make the right thing should reach out to many people because whenever generally people used to say when something wrong happens, that will become a big news. When something is good is happening, no media, nobody will bother to highlight that. So we used to keep on highlight the project on continuous basis. Even I left that place, still I wanted to focus that. Still I am in touch with those people. And we have involved SHGs. This is what even I really I have to tell my gratitude to the Vijay Kumar sir. He is the one of the pioneer. He is the one who led the SHG in our entire country as a how successfully SHG can be led. So I have been personally to Anandpur even 10, 15 years back in 2009. So I had stayed there with the self-help group activities for continuously 3, 4 days, which with a different level of meetings I have been part of it. So I come to know how the women, because even first time I went for the program just like that. Okay, we can see what is there. We can also do something like that. But when I went there and when I saw the women self group, the quantity of financial thing they are contributing, the micro credit knowledge they are having, it's really amazing. I really credit goes to Vijay Kumar sir because he knows how to build the system in place, how to make the big thing happen, that too in the long lasting manner. Because most of the officers make the things, but once they got transferred, the project will drop out. But because this credit goes to him because he brought the women into the next. So these are the things we have categorized entire because almost we can generally say blessing in disguise because the already that part was a little bit backward. So in that also we have one advantage was lot of pesticide companies, lot of fertilizers are not getting into that. So people are already using very less pesticide, less fertilizer. So for that it was very easy to make a ground plant quickly. So what we did was we started with the green villages. What you can see, no farmer using chemical inputs, and after that yellow and red. These are the categories we have because one single approach we can't focus every village and every farmer. So we have even now also we have even much more categorization has been done now. So these are the approaches which will always help us in bringing results. So we come to know where we have to put more intensive effort, where we can easily low hanging fruits, they can say. So we have categorized the villages according to their position. So next. So like LAC might be generally LOC line of control, line of actual control, but like this large area certification, this is the one more in like how today morning somebody was telling about the AI is not only artificial intelligence, it's agriculture independence. So likewise, it is also one LAC. This is the large area certification we have done along with the 110 villages. Almost our target has been covering the entire Dantewada district. So it is quite possible. It's nothing like it's actually highly impossible or something like that. If it takes Dantewada 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, but other districts can easily be transformed. So because we started with the scratch and we don't know we don't have so much models, but we have established so many things. So what I can tell is that the Nirman, which is the almost the alumni of the BITS planning, they are also part of our program. So we never thought any of the NGO or civil societies are against government. We always take positive criticisms. We always see even any media, anyone tells anything, point out any weakness, we try to rectify it. We always think we all are working for the common goal. So it's the kind of approach, positive approach we get us for the large area certification. Next. So these are the, I'm skipping this because it will take more time to explain. Next. Because we have pulled all the resources, that's what actually we are bringing to say. And some of the key points I am quickly going through it because I already told you it was a favorable ground. And apart from that, many of the time, even administrators, even policymakers, even sometimes they try to bring some big project, fail to address the what is already in place. So we recognize the positiveness in the ground and the administrative continuity. You have seen they have given me almost 3 years as a collector in that district, and almost all the collectors, all the officers are continuously focusing on the agenda, and all the common native and narrative and common larger vision is there because I already told you we have talked with everyone. It's not it's only collectors drive. We made it possible to it's actually collective effort. So now I also give the credit to everyone, those who are came together and supported us. And the scheme and you can generally government works based on some scheme based approach. But what we tried here was our ultimate goal was making the entire district organic. So we never thought of under which scheme we get budget and up to which year it will go. We always thought of farmers' welfare at the top priority. So we always we plug and played the schemes. Sometimes we got the fund from the CFR. Sometimes we got the fund from NGO. So we have tried many options for this. Even I already mentioned about Nirman. They also did some crowdfunding to bring for some salary and honorarium for the CR cluster resource persons. Next, next. Yes. Before, just before one, this is the some of the reflections because always think further. Whatever we always make it better. I always believe that whatever position we are, we can do better. So I always have that self-analysis also. Those who have come over here, I always tell what government can do, what NGO can do, what society can do. Be above all, what myself, what I can do. So that's the first thing we can plan it out. We can stick on to the commitment. So when we started delivering, definitely all other forces will come in to help us. And this is the that make local market ready because the production thing we all always focus today also morning also we in the marketing discussion also we come to know that we have to create more awareness of the awareness among the consumers because morning Anantji also mentioned that too. Simply whenever they go and purchase one t-shirt, the t-shirts are available for 100 rupees also, but people are prefer to go and buy some branded t-shirts for 800 rupees, 1500 rupees. There they don't think why they are going for higher rate thing. But when they come for the tomato, why you are not selling for 5 rupees? Why you are not selling for 20 rupees? They simply asking the question. Whatever they put above the body, they don't mind to spend money. Whatever they put inside the body, they think about so many calculations. At the end of the day, they go and uh, pay all the bills to the that also very branded, very big hospital. Those people go and spend all the money, all the savings over there. So consumer awareness, it's one of the thing we have to take care, and it's not only any civil society's responsibility or any government's responsibility. It is everyone's responsibility to make our consumers aware about the organic products. And the last one slide is just photo. I show you. Next. This is the photo. This was my farewell. So it was not organized. The farmers themselves came to us. came to me to meet me, and they had given a lot of farewell gifts. You can see some Loki, this bottle girl, this kind of artist works and all. So it's really heartwarming for me, and I thank Shah and Kisan Sammelan for organizing and giving me such a good opportunity. Thank you.
This is one of the wonderful example of how we civil society people or organic farmers join our hands with administration. We organic farmers usually have an aversion with working along with government machinery. But there are really good people, concerned people who are really interested in making and showing the change happening at the ground level. He is one of the example for it. We have to go a big up. When we talk about the future of organic pathways, she cannot be left out to get her view about organic. She is one of the pioneering organic farming in the country, starting from 30 years ago. She hails from the family of Cariappa. We all know who is Cariappa. So, Ms. Julie Cariappa is from the family. Julie and Vivek have worked very hard in making the farm into a heaven or a soil, along with the people living in the village, in the People village in the Karnataka. And I had met her long back, nearly in 2002, when we all sat together making the file, giving a shape to file. After that, I'm getting now only. She had she had a long journey with organics, not just organic farming, it's organics. She made a very special reference in the morning when I spoke with the guy. Everybody is talking, including the organic farmers, are talking about farmer. It is not farmer. It is a farm family. We should talk about farm family because the entire family is working in it. Why you are talking about it singularly? It is a farm family like that. That kind of a vision and the view she's having. And I invite Julie Cariappa to give her thoughts about what should be the future pathway.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here with all of you. I'm seeing so many of you after a very, very long time. And it's a real pleasure, a privilege to be able to say many things that I've been wanting to say for a long time to a large number of people. So I'm getting that opportunity. Thank you. Since we began to farm, raise a family and live our lives in the Nugu Valley 40 years ago, not 30, the organic farming movement has grown, flourished, and expanded to include so many ways of doing the things that we do and correlating and impacting so many lives, and not just human, but many, many beings. It's nothing short of a miracle. The model of existence that drives most of the world is quite contrary to the dynamics we as a community have been able to establish through our work and our values. And the fact that we survive and even prosper is something we need to feel very encouraged by. In some small way, but very significant, we have set about to make a world that is not driven solely by numbers and yields. It is inclusive and diverse. It strives to be compassionate and is fundamentally connected with Mother Earth. By necessity, but also by a choice to live kindly with other beings. The last few days that I've been listening in, there's been so much talk about numbers and yields and comparing ourselves to, in a sense, into a conventional agriculture. But I don't think that that is the point of what we do here. In all this endeavor, we have also welcomed and been supported by consumers, civil society organizations, and a small section of the scientific community that really understands and believes in the principles that define our relationship to our fields, our farms, and the wilderness that surround us. Pausing here to reflect, it's been a great learning journey so far. Individually to stand apart and speak our minds, and as a collective to embody all the pain, risk-taking, and bodybuilding needed to walk this far. We are starting to listen to our inner voices, and the message from the land in all its complexity and wonder. Each place has its own wisdom, and understanding how to hear it and perceive it truthfully is a patient and sometimes heartbreaking work. But we have shown resilience and dedication. It is vital to recognize that organic and natural farming, which I will call ecological farming, is not so much about what we grow for commercial production, but rather the stewarding of a place. The enabling and protection of a multi-layered system, which we could define as the soil biome. I'm not very good at my Sanskrit terminology, but we might call this the Jivamay Deha. To steward, protect, and conserve life forms to ensure the mineral and living soil zones are interwoven and fluid, helping the complexity of microorganisms to thrive and to give space for wilderness. This subtle work is a most important and time-consuming undertaking. And it is one that farms do for the human species at large. It's an unpaid custodianship. Neither civil society nor the government acknowledges this fact. Sometimes we don't even acknowledge it. The endless task of keeping our lands free from contamination and poison, from pesticides and new age agrochemicals like glyphosate, safeguarding our seeds from genetically tampered, dysregulated GM crops, protecting our ancient lines of trees, shrubs, weeds, and medicinal plants, and safeguarding traditional races of farm animals as well as soil microbiota from extinction. This is a labor of love of farming families across the world. Our earnings from produce, even at a premium, do not compensate us for this work. My family, through the years, has brought this to the discussion. But it's a pretty dangerous admission to make. For everyone, surely an ecological farm should receive financial and other support for conserving the future of food and forests. I truly hope that this forum will address this need and raise awareness to help us to continue to take care of the biome. Acknowledged here is that life is a collaborative matrix. The spirit of cooperation and resonance is the thread that binds together the natural world. It is our greatest resource. How do we apply this principle on our farms and homesteads? There are serious problems in the human challenge of running an ecological operation without herbicide and machinery that has brought the cost of conventional cultivation down. We are simultaneously faced with the parallel problem of skyrocketing wages, due to the dystopian economics of contract farming and big business agriculture. In a table of cost-benefit ratios, it's easy to see that ecological farming far outweighs conventional in the protection of land and biome health, including human health. But we are running out of money to sustain our farms. We have to compete with urban wages without any accountability of the actual cost of toxic and soil-damaging practices of chemicals in agriculture. Within that, the inequalities of value for work in gender pay scales is outrageous. Cultural and social biases in this context have also plagued our ability to work together harmoniously for a common outcome. So this is what I call the second tier of challenges. Safe food and healthy biomes must be paid for. I know there are schemes that can be utilized and implemented for daily wage work, but are they capable in actual terms? And is there the will to make them available for real support and stewarding of the land? Will the environmental tax ever be utilized to directly support agroecology? For the moment, I leave that question to sit with those organizations that speak for policy change in favor of healthier farming. We ask you to do your work, as we must do ours. We have to upgrade our organizing capacity. As farmers, we need to find ways to collaborate and be invested in the system of a wholesome food basket delivered to customers. This could be direct consumer networks or dedicated stores where farming representatives are stakeholders in the decision-making and allocation process. Too often, this work is delegated to people who do not understand organic farming and the organic food sector, and inevitably dilute the values that need to be maintained. Supermarkets and mega brands co-opting rural communities in the guise of being benevolent is very tricky. Our younger generation, led by young adults of ecological communities, have great potential to straddle both worlds. They must be respected and be the cogwheel of the ship. Farmers, homesteaders, and urban consumers, I'd like to shout out, connect to the source. Food is too important to leave to someone else. And besides, the true value of food and fiber that feeds and clothes the body and spirit is when, in some way, you touch the soil and bring reverence back into your own consumption practice. Young and old, professional and vocational, whoever you may be, get involved in what you consume. Protect seeds, soil, water, and the air, starting in your own backyards and farms. This is not something you do for anybody else. When we do this thing called earthwork, we are not separate from her. There are enough examples of communities across the world who have changed the shape of towns and cities by growing food in urban areas, parks, and abandoned spaces. We don't need beautiful ornamental gardens, we need food. This can revolutionize the quality of life, clean water, air, and reduce plastic. Most importantly, it will bring beauty back to life. And you will spend more time talking to each other, as well as keeping fit and motivated. Fresh vegetables grown by cooperative effort around urban areas, with farming families in rural areas taking better care of land and producing the rest of what comes to your table could be a way forward. Get to know your farming community. The cost of living and the joy of living for both rural and urban citizens rationalized if we are wise. And we on our farms might actually eat our own food because we can afford to. Besides, of course, saving food miles and finite carbon reserves. This sort of strategy would lead into networks of resilience. A little aside here, I can't help but be tempted to add that the mycelium network is what keeps the forest system integral, from waterways under the dense leaf litter conveying nutrients to wherever they are needed, to sensitive neural communication between dependent flora and fauna. The grandmother and grandfather trees are communities within communities, harvesters of solar energy interconnected within every cell and with every life form on the forest floor. As the vortex of water rises, catch, flow, and release. The time has come for biomimicry of this perfect closed loop that recycles, renews, and while filtering water and cleaning air with nothing going to waste. Indeed, breath and light is restored in a continuum. So what will this design require? Taking responsibility. Choosing to keep decision-making within local cycles of consumption. And enabling the human neighborhood to break patterns of dependence on mega corporation consumers. Where there is a will, there is a way. It is our world, and we can find our way on this, our beloved Bhumitai. Thank you for listening.
Hearing it brought back me to a discussion with Orville Bernard. When we all talk about the global warming and all things, we people are, most of the small farmers are small farmers and living in semi-arid conditions. What kind of a hope we can do? What kind of models we have to suggest? Such kind of a questions will keep on coming in my mind. So when I asked him what I should do to them, global warming, nothing. Don't bother. Don't worry about it. Put your hand on the soil. Open your heart. The soil will tell you what to do. The same thing the soil. Our next speaker is Mr. Pamayan. My long journeys friends, traveler. We worked together for maybe for 35 years. We all together traveled organics in Tamil Nadu. He's a thinker. He has written many books on environment and also on organics, and often writes brings out bi-monthly called the Thalani. And he is a very specialist in giving a real Tamil word for many of the English words, technical words, with root words in Tamil. It's not just the translation of a word by meaning with the root words and the things. He's a thinker. His specialization is Tinei. There is a division of land in 5 sectors. It's in the Tamil grammar. How the land should be classified and all things. What all the animals will be there, what kind of plants will be there, what will the mentality of the people will be there, all are classified in that Tinei. He is an expert in that, and he is going to deliver his thoughts about what should be the future of organics.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். இந்த வாய்ப்பை எனக்கு கொடுத்த ஆஷா அமைப்பிற்கும், நண்பர் செல்வம் அவர்களுக்கும், கவிதா, அனைத்து ஆகியோருக்கும் எனது முதலில் வணக்கம். எங்களுடைய பயணம் ஏற்கனவே செல்வம் சொன்னது போல 35 ஆண்டுகளாக தமிழ்நாட்டில் இயற்கை வேளாண்மை இயக்கத்தை வளர்த்தெடுப்பதில் ஐயா நம்மாழ்வாரோடு சேர்ந்து பயணித்தோம். இந்த மாதிரி எங்களுக்கு ஒரு கலெக்டர் கிடைக்கல. அப்படி கிடைச்சிருந்தா நாங்கள் இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் வெகு தூரம் போயிருக்கலாம். இருந்தாலும் எங்களுடைய சொந்த உழைப்பின் காரணமாக அதன் முயற்சியின் வழியாக நாங்கள் எங்களால் முடிந்த வெற்றிகளை பெற்றோம். தொடர்ந்து அந்த பயணம் நடந்து கொண்டு இருக்கிறது. அந்த அடிப்படையில் முதல்ல நம்ம இந்த இயக்கத்தை தொடங்கும் பொழுது எங்களுக்கு பெரிய வரவேற்பெல்லாம் இல்லை. பல கூட்டங்களில் நான் செல்வம் நம்மாழ்வார் எவ்வளோ போகும்போது நாங்கள் பேச போகின்ற பேச்சாளர்கள் நிறையா இருப்போம், கேட்குறவங்க குறைவாக இருப்பாங்க. நாங்கள் 5 பேர் போனோம்னா 4 பேர் உட்காந்துருப்பாங்க. அப்படி தான் தொடங்குச்சு. இன்னைக்கு ஒரு இயற்கை விவசாய கூட்டம் அப்படின்னு நீங்கள் தமிழ்நாட்டில் போட்டிங்கன்னா குறைஞ்சது 2000 10,000 பேர் வர்றாங்க. அது மிகப்பெரிய வெற்றி. அப்போ எந்த ஒரு செயலையும் ஒரு சரியான செயலாக இருந்தால் அது தொடர்ந்து நீங்கள் செயல்படும் பொழுது நிச்சயமாக வெற்றியை அடைய முடியும் என்பது எங்களுடைய அனுபவம். அந்த அடிப்படையில் எங்களுடைய பயணம் தொடர்ந்தது. இனிமேல் என்ன பண்ண வேண்டும் அப்படிங்கிறதா இன்னைக்கு நம்ம பேசப்படுற தலைப்பாக இருக்கிறது, பேசிக்கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய தலைப்பாக இருக்கிறது. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி நம்முடைய பண்பாட்டில் வேளாண்மை விவசாயம் என்பது அக்ரிகல்ச்சராக இருந்தது, அதாவது வேளாண் பண்பாடாக இருந்தது. இன்று அது அக்ரி பிசினஸாக மாறி இருக்கிறது. சந்தையை நோக்கிய உற்பத்தி, ஒரு காலத்தில் தேவையை நோக்கிய உற்பத்தி என்பதாக இருந்தது. இப்பொழுது சந்தையை நோக்கிய உற்பத்தியாக மாறி இருக்கிறது. சந்தை எப்பொழுதுமே ஒரு விவசாயிக்கு சாதகமாக இருந்ததில்லை. எப்பொழுதெல்லாம் உற்பத்தி அதிகமாக இருக்கிறதோ அப்பொழுதெல்லாம் சந்தையில் விலை குறைவாக இருக்கும். எப்பொழுதெல்லாம் சந்தையில் விலை அதிகமாக இருக்கிறதோ அப்பொழுதெல்லாம் உற்பத்தி குறைவாக இருக்கும். ஆகவே இந்த எதிர்மறை விகித பொருத்தம் என்பது சந்தையால் விவசாயிக்கு வழங்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. ஆகவே இந்த சந்தையை வெல்ல வேண்டும் என்கிற சூழல் விவசாயிக்கு தொடர்ந்து ஒரு குதிரைக்கு முன் கட்டப்பட்ட ஒரு முள்ளங்கி காயை போலதான் இருக்கிறது. தொடர்ந்து அந்த ஓட்டம் நடந்து கொண்டே இருக்கிறது. ஆனால் விவசாயிகளால் வெற்றி பெறவே முடியவில்லை. ஆகவே அடுத்த கட்டமாக நாம் மூன்றாவது அடியாக நாம் எதை நோக்கி எடுக்க வேண்டும் என்றால் அது அக்ரோ ஈகாலஜி என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய இந்த வேளாண் திணையியல் அல்லது வேளாண் சூழலியல் என்கின்ற அடுத்த கட்டத்தை நோக்கிய நம்முடைய பயணம் இருக்க வேண்டும் என்பது என்னுடைய கருத்து. ஆகவே நாம் அக்ரி பிசினஸ் என்பதை தவிர்த்து அக்ரோ எக்காலஜி என்கின்ற அடுத்த நிலைக்கு செல்ல வேண்டும். அதற்கு நாம் நிச்சயமாக தனி ஒரு மனிதராக செய்யவே முடியாது. ஏனென்றால் ஈகோ சிஸ்டம் என்பது பலவிதமான உயிரினங்களுடைய ஒரு கூட்டமைப்பு என்றால் சொல்ல வேண்டும். நிறைய எலிமெண்ட்ஸ் இருக்குதுல, ஒன்றொன்றும் தன்னுடைய ரோல் அது செஞ்சுட்டே இருக்கணும். இந்த ஈகோ சிஸ்டம் அப்ரோச் இருந்தால் மட்டும்தான் நம்ம வெற்றி அடைய முடியும். அந்த அடிப்படையில் நாம் கூட்டு முயற்சிகளாக பல வேலைகளை செய்ய வேண்டியிருக்கிறது. அதை தனி மனிதராக செய்ய முடியாது. இப்போ நாங்கள் ஒரு சின்ன எக்ஸாம்பிளாக ஒரு முயற்சி செய்தோம். ஒரு 103 பேர் இணைந்து ஒரு கலெக்டிவ் ஃபார்மிங் என்று சொல்வது கூட்டு பண்ணை என்கின்ற ஒரு முயற்சியை நாங்கள் எடுத்திருக்கிறோம். இந்த கூட்டு பண்ணை என்பது கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு ஈகோ வில்லேஜ் என்கின்ற அடிப்படையில் தான் அதை செய்தோம். அந்த 100 பேரும் அதில் இன்வெஸ்ட் செய்திருக்கிறார்கள். அவர்கள் அதில் பங்கெடுக்கிறார்கள். அங்கு அந்த குடும்பத்திற்கு தேவையான உணவுகள் உற்பத்தி செய்யப்படுகின்றன. அவர்கள் அதை பிரித்துக் கொள்கிறார்கள். இதில் நிறைய சிரமங்கள். ஏன்னா ஒரு 10 விவசாயிகளை ஒன்றா சேர்க்கறது கஷ்டம். 100 பேரை சேர்க்கறது எவ்வளோ கஷ்டமோ உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். அந்த 100 பேருக்கும் 100 ஒப்பீனியன் இருக்கும். ஆனால் அதில் என்ன நல்ல அம்சங்கள் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா, இந்த 100 பேருடைய அறிவு நமக்கு கிடைக்குது. ஒருவருக்கும் ஒரு துறை சார்ந்த வல்லுநர்களாக இருப்பாங்க. அவங்களுடைய நாலேஜ் நமக்கு கிடைச்சிட்டே இருக்கு. அது மட்டும் இல்லாமல் சந்தை நம்ம கட்டுப்பாட்டில் இருக்கு. 100 குடும்பங்கள், 100 குடும்பத்தினுடைய நண்பர்கள் அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய சந்தை நம்முடைய கட்டுப்பாட்டில் இருக்கு. விலையை நாம் தான் தீர்மானிக்கிறோம். யாரோ ஒருத்தர் விலையை தீர்மானிக்கிறது இல்லை. உற்பத்தி செலவு எவ்வளோ ஆகிறதோ அதற்கேற்ப நாம் விலையை வைத்துக் கொள்கிறோம். இப்படியாக சாதக அம்சங்கள் இந்த கூட்டு பண்ணை முயற்சியில் நிச்சயமாக இருக்கிறது. இதுதான் ஒரு தீர்வு என்று நான் சொல்லவில்லை. இதே போல பல கூட்டு முயற்சிகள் செய்யப்படலாம். இப்போ கம்யூனிட்டி சப்போர்ட்டட் அக்ரிகல்ச்சர், இப்போ அனந்து அங்க சென்னையில ஒரு மாதிரி வச்சிருக்காங்க. அவங்க சந்தையை மையப்படுத்தி வைத்தால் கூட அவங்களுடைய நுகர்வோர்களை, கன்சியூமரை அவங்க எஜுகேட் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. ஒரு குறிப்பிட்ட நிலையான விலையில் பொருள்களை வாங்க வைத்திருக்கிறார்கள். அதன் மூலமாக கிடைக்கக்கூடிய அந்த வருமானத்தில் ஒரு பகுதியை அந்த விவசாயிகளுக்கு செல்லுமாறு செய்திருக்கிறார்கள். இது ஒரு நல்ல முயற்சி. இப்படி பல முயற்சிகள். சில விவசாயிகள் நேரடியாக ஆன்லைன் மூலமாக விற்பனை செய்கிறார்கள். இப்படி பல முயற்சிகள் நடக்கிறது. ஆனால் இது தமிழகத்திற்கு போதுமானதாக இருக்கிறதா என்றால் இல்லை, இன்னும் பெருக வேண்டும். ஒரு 3-5 விழுக்காடு தான் சென்றடைஞ்சிருக்கிறது. அதே நேரத்தில் நாம் அரசை நம் பக்கம் திருப்ப வேண்டும். செல்வம் அடிக்கடி சொல்வார், அரசியல்வாதிகள் எப்பொழுதும் மக்களின் நாடியை பிடித்துக் கொண்டே இருப்பார்கள், அந்த நாடி துடிப்பை அறிந்து கொண்டே இருக்கிறார்கள். அவர்கள் எப்பொழுது நம்மை நோக்கி திரும்புவார்கள் என்றால், நாம் அனைவரும் சேர்ந்து அல்லது ஒரு பெரும்பான்மையான மக்கள் சேர்ந்து ஒரு குரல் எழுப்புவோம். ஆனால் நிச்சயமாக அரசு நம்மை பார்த்து திரும்பும் என்று அவர் சொல்வார். அந்த அடிப்படையில் நாம் நிறைய பேரை பேச வைக்க வேண்டும். அதிகமான எண்ணிக்கையிலான மக்களை இதை நோக்கி திருப்ப வேண்டும். இதற்கு நிறைய வாய்ப்புகள் நமக்கு இருக்கு. இன்று ஒவ்வொரு சமூகமும் சந்திக்கக்கூடிய சிக்கல்களை நீங்கள் பார்த்தீர்கள் என்றால் மிகப்பெரிய வாய்ப்பு, வெரி குட் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி நமக்கு இருக்கிறது. ஏனென்றால் நகரங்கள் எல்லாம் இப்பொழுது வாழ்வதற்கு தகுதியற்றதாக மாறிக்கொண்டிருக்கின்றன. டெல்லி எடுத்துக்கிட்டாலும் சரி, மும்பை எடுத்துக்கிட்டாலும் சரி, சென்னை எடுத்துக்கிட்டாலும் சரி, பெங்களூர் எடுத்துக்கிட்டாலும் சரி, நீங்க டிராபிக்ல இருந்து ஒரு இடத்துக்கு இன்னொரு இடம் போறதுக்கு 3 மணி நேரம் ஆகும். நான் சொல்ல குறைஞ்சது, அதை விட அதிகமான நேரமாகுன்னு சொல்றாங்க. ஆக நகரங்கள் என்பது மக்கள் வாழ்வதற்கு ஏற்ற இடமாக இல்லை. அந்த நகரத்திலிருந்து மக்கள் கிராமத்திற்கு போக வேண்டும் என்று நினைக்கிறார்கள். ஆனால் கிராமங்கள் அதைவிட நிறைந்த சிக்கல்களில் இருக்கிறது. அங்கே சரியான அளவு தண்ணீர் கிடைப்பதில்லை, சரியான குடியிருப்புகள் இல்லை, கல்வி வசதிகள் இல்லை, மருத்துவ வசதிகள் இல்லை. இப்படி அங்கு ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய குறை இருக்கிறது. எல்லாம் நகரத்தை நோக்கிய திட்டங்களாக இருக்கின்றன. இன்னும் சொல்ல போனால் சென்னை, தமிழ்நாடு போன்ற மாநிலங்கள் 65 விழுக்காடு மக்கள் நகரத்தை நோக்கி வந்து விட்டார்கள். 35 விழுக்காடு மக்கள் தான் கிராமத்தில் இருக்கிறார்கள். அதிலும் கூட 10 - 15 விழுக்காடு மக்கள் தான் வேளாண்மையில் ஈடுபடுகிறார்கள். ஆகவே உணவு உற்பத்தி என்பது குறைந்து கொண்டே வருகிறது. நாம் பெரும்பாலான உணவுகளை, என்னதான் இந்தியா உணவு உற்பத்தியில் தன்னிறைவு பெற்றதாக சொல்லிக் கொண்டாலும், இன்னமும் பல உணவுப் பயிர்களை இறக்குமதி தான் செய்வோம். குறிப்பாக பருப்புகள், எண்ணெய் போன்ற பல உணவுப் பயிர்களை நாம் இறக்குமதி தான் செய்து கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். அந்த அடிப்படையில் நகரங்களிலிருந்து மக்கள் கிராமத்தை நோக்கியும், கிராமத்திலிருந்து மக்கள் நகரத்தை நோக்கியும் செல்கின்ற இந்த முறை லெனின் ஒரு குறிப்பிட்டு காட்டுவார். எப்பொழுது இந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு சமூக அன்ரெஸ்ட் வருகிறதோ அப்பொழுது சமூகம் புரட்சிக்கு தயாராகிவிடும் என்று சொல்வார். அந்த அடிப்படையில் இந்த காலகட்டம் என்பது நமக்கான காலகட்டம். நாம் முன்னெடுக்க வேண்டிய ஒரு சரியான காலகட்டம். இந்த காலகட்டத்தை நாம் மக்களை இந்த இயற்கையின் மீது பற்றாளர்களாக மாற்றி அவர்களை திருப்புவோம் என்றால் நிச்சயமாக நாம் வெற்றி பெற முடியும். அந்த வெற்றியை நோக்கி பயணிப்போம். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
ஆமையன் அவர்களுக்கு ரொம்ப நன்றி. That is about all the Tamil that I know. So if you are like me and didn't understand, I want to remind you again that there is simultaneous translation going on, and you can log into Zoom and you can listen to everything that is being spoken in Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, and Malayalam. The next 2 speakers are little more from an activist background, and so I thought before they come, I'll try and set the mood little more appropriate for an activist. one of the strengths of Asha is really that it, even like Krishna Mal, who's a Gandhian, we had her video earlier, and many of the people associated with Asha are inspired by Gandhian principles, Gandhian values, and Gandhi spoke about Seva, Sangarsh, and Nirman. And on the one hand, there is a lot of Nirman that Asha is associated with. In Dantewada, the organization, the NGO, the civil society organization working there literally has the name Nirvan. And Akash, who is associated with Nirman, based out of there, also deserves a lot of credit that is for what has happened in Dantewada, which is really amazing. I mean, more than the area in Sikkim, there is more organic agriculture happening in Dantewada. That is really fantastic. And it also highlights that we need to protect the default organic areas, while we also need to bring back areas that have gone into more green revolution paradigms. At the same time, it is also necessary to ensure that the areas that are already organic by default also continue to remain organic. So on the one hand, there is this constructive work and Nirman that Asha is associated with. But on the other hand, there is also the Sangarsh, because constructive work is very necessary, but there are also many negative things that are coming that are preventing the spread of agroecology, of organic, of natural farming. And some of these threats are the seeds bill. And the seeds bill, many of you may know, essentially dilutes the farmer's rights to save seeds. And it is seeking to bring harmonization with the PPV, FNR, with the UPO, which essentially all these words mean that the farmers' rights to save their own seeds and to promote and spread their own seeds comes down. So, do we all agree that it is a basic right of farmers to be able to have their own seeds? Do we all agree with this? Raise your hands if you agree. Okay, so like I said, I'm trying to set the stage for activists, so we'll do a little narebazi, and we'll also try and have many languages. So this we will begin with Hindi. So I will say Hamara beach, you should say Hamara hak. All of you agree? Agree? Hamara beach. Louder. Hamara beach. Okay, I'll do it without the mic. You should be louder than me. Okay? Hamara beach. Yes, very good. And since we are in Karnataka and we have had English and Tamil already, I think we'll have Telugu next. So we'll do some Kannada before the Telugu speaker comes. A couple of other threats for organic are, one is HT crops. There is also genetically modified HT crops. But even if it is not genetically modified, only HT crops are also a threat to organic. And of course, then various herbicides like glyphosate are also a big threat. So I will say HT crops, you should say beda. Okay, all of you agree that we don't want HT crops. Do you agree? Beda. Raise your hands if you agree. We don't want glyphosate? No. Okay. So HT crops, you should say beda. HT crops. HT crops. HT crops. Glyphosate. 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 Yes. So these are the kinds of things we will also have to do to ensure that agroecology can continue to flourish in India, and how, what the farmers can do, what Asha can do. These are the kinds of things that we need to reflect on and see what we can do better, both on the constructive side as well as on the side where we have to act to protect what is already there with us. And for this, I call upon Ravi Garu Ravi Garu is a very, very well-known activist in Andhra and Telangana. He's an expert on food policy, environment policy, and does a lot of work for people's rights and Adivasi rights. He has been associated with ASHA since the beginning. He's also associated with the Right to Swaraj Vedika, and he has a very sharp, keen, deep, critical mind, and I invite him to share his reflections on the journey of Asha for the last 15-16 years.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. నేను తెలుగులోనే మాట్లాడతాను. కిసాన్ స్వరాజ్ సమ్మేళన్ 2010లో కిసాన్ స్వరాజ్ యాత్ర జరిగినప్పటి నుంచి నేను దీంట్లో ఉన్నాను. యాత్రలో నేను వెళ్ళలేకపోయాను, కానీ ఆ తర్వాత జరిగిన డెవలప్మెంట్స్లో ఆశా నెట్వర్క్ బిల్డింగ్లో మేము భాగమయ్యాం. రైతు స్వరాజ్య వేదికగా మేము అప్పుడు ఉమ్మడి ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్లో మేము రైతు స్వరాజ్య వేదిక స్టార్ట్ చేసాం. 15 years అయింది. ఈ కాన్ఫరెన్స్కి వచ్చినటువంటి వాళ్ళందరికీ ముందుగా అభినందనలు. అట్లాగే కాన్ఫరెన్స్ని చాలా అద్భుతంగా నిర్వహిస్తున్నటువంటి నేషనల్ కమిటీ ఆఫ్ ఆశా అండ్ కర్ణాటక టీంకి కూడా అభినందనలు నేను తెలియజేస్తున్నాను. కొంత అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ది కాంటెక్స్ట్ అనిపిస్తుండొచ్చు నేను మాట్లాడేది, కానీ యాక్చువల్గా మంచి పీస్ఫుల్ వాతావరణం ఉంది, ఎంజాయ్మెంట్ మూడ్లో ఉంది, ఫుడ్ కూడా బాగుంది. కానీ నేను చాలా డిస్టర్బ్డ్గా ఉన్నాను. దానికి కారణం ఒకటే, ఈ హాల్ బయట ప్రపంచం బాగలేదు. మనం ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ సస్టైనబిలిటీ గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్న టైంలోనే ఒక 2 దేశాలు ఇంకో దేశం మీద యుద్ధం ప్రకటించినాయి. ఒక దేశ అధ్యక్షుడిని చంపేసినాయి. మనం హ్యుమానిటీ గురించి లేదా సోషల్ జస్టిస్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్న కాలంలోనే, మన పిల్లల భవిష్యత్తు బాగుండాలి, వాళ్ళకి సరైన ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ ఇవ్వాలి అని మాట్లాడుతున్న కాలంలోనే స్కూల్స్ మీద బాంబులేసి ఆడపిల్లల్ని చంపేసింది. నేను ఈ సందర్భంగా నేను మీకు గుర్తు చేయకుండా కేవలం వ్యవసాయ రంగం మీద మాట్లాడలేదు. ఎందుకంటే గ్లోబలైజేషన్ ఎరాలో మనం ప్రపంచంలో భాగంగా ఉన్నాం. వారం రోజుల క్రితమే February 7th నుంచి ఇండో-యుఎస్ అగ్రిమెంట్ అమల్లోకి వచ్చింది. ఒక రకంగా మనం సావరెంటీ గురించి, సీడ్ సావరెంటీ గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నాం. ఇంపోర్ట్స్ మీద బ్యాన్ ఉండాలంటున్నాం, ఎక్స్పోర్ట్స్ని టారిఫ్ ఫ్రీ చేయాలంటున్నాం. కానీ ఇండో-యుఎస్ అగ్రిమెంట్ రాబోయే కాలం అంతా కూడా తప్పకుండా ఇండియన్ ఫార్మర్స్కి ఒక రకంగా మరణ శాసనం రాస్తుంది. ముఖ్యంగా కాటన్, మెయిన్స్, సోయా ఈ పంటలు పండించేటువంటి రైతులు అందరూ కూడా చాలా తీవ్రమైనటువంటి ఎఫెక్ట్ అవుతారు. దీని మీద మనం మాట్లాడకుండా ఉండలేదు, మాట్లాడాల్సిన సందర్భం కనుక మాట్లాడుతున్నాం. రెండవది, మొత్తంగానే మనం వ్యవసాయం గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నప్పుడు చాలా సందర్భాలలో చాలా పాత సమస్యలు కొన్ని ఉన్నాయి. ఇప్పటికీ రూరల్ ఇండియాలో 50% పాపులేషన్కి 1 సెంట్ భూమి కూడా లేదు. ఇప్పటికీ స్మాల్ అండ్ మార్జినల్ ఫార్మర్స్ ఇన్కమ్ లెవెల్స్ చాలా తక్కువగా ఉన్నాయి. ఇప్పటికీ సొంత భూమి లేక వేరే వాళ్ళ భూమిని కౌలుకు తీసుకునేటువంటి రైతుల సంఖ్య అన్ని రాష్ట్రాల్లోనూ 30-40%కు పెరుగుతున్నది. ఇప్పటికీ ఆహార ధాన్యాల మీద ఆధారపడిన దేశంగా మనం చెప్పుకుంటాం, కానీ ఇప్పటికీ న్యూట్రియంట్ ఫుడ్, పౌష్టికాహారం ప్రజలకు అందుబాటులో లేవు, కేవలం రైస్ తప్ప, వీట్ తప్ప. ఇటువంటి నేపథ్యంలో సస్టైనబిలిటీ గురించి మాట్లాడడం, ఆర్గానిక్ అగ్రికల్చర్ గురించి మాట్లాడడం అనుకున్నప్పుడు మనం 4 లక్ష్యాలు పెట్టుకున్నాం. దాంట్లో 2వ లక్ష్యం సహజ వనరుల మీద ప్రజలకు హక్కులు. అది మనం గుర్తుంచుకుంటామా లేదా మర్చిపోతున్నామా? ల్యాండ్, వాటర్, ఫారెస్ట్, మినరల్స్ ఏదైనా సరే ప్రజల చేతుల్లో ఉండాలి, కార్పొరేట్స్ కోసం కాదు అనేటువంటిది మనం ఏదైతే ఆశా నెట్వర్క్ లో రాస్తున్నామో అది ఇంకొకసారి మనం ఈ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ నుంచి కూడా గుర్తు చేసుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం ఉందని నేను చెప్పాలనుకుంటున్నాను. మొత్తం వ్యవసాయ భూములన్నీ డెవలప్మెంట్ మోడల్లో ఇండస్ట్రియలైజేషన్ పేరుతో, హైవేస్ పేరుతో, రింగ్ రోడ్స్ పేరుతో బయటకు వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాయి. నాన్ అగ్రికల్చరలిస్టులు అందరూ కూడా భూములు కొంటున్నారు. సొంతంగా రైతులు వ్యవసాయం చేసి 1 ఎకరం భూమి కూడా కొనలేకపోతున్నారు. భూమి ఎవరి చేతుల్లో ఉండాలి, అడవికి ఎవరి చేతుల్లో ఉండాలి అనే ప్రశ్న వేయాల్సిన సందర్భం వచ్చింది. అది ఆశాలో మనం అందరం గట్టిగా అడగాల్సిన సందర్భం అని నేను అనుకుంటున్నాను. అట్లాగే అదే విధంగా ఇవాళ చాలా విషయాలు ఇంతకు ముందు నుంచి ఉన్నాయి. క్రెడిట్ లేదు ఫార్మర్స్ కి, క్రాప్ ఇన్సూరెన్స్ లేదు, లేకపోతే ఇన్సూరెన్స్ క్లైమేట్ డ్యామేజ్ జరిగినప్పుడు ఈ నష్టపరిహారం లేదు. ఇట్లాంటి అన్ని ఇష్యూస్ ఉండగా న్యూ ఛాలెంజెస్ 2 ఇప్పుడు ఎమర్జ్ అవుతూ ఉన్నాయి తెలంగాణలో కానీ ఏపీలో కానీ మేము చూస్తున్నది. ఒకటి, అగ్రికల్చర్ ఆహార భద్రతకు కావాల్సినటువంటి ఆహార పంటల నుంచి ఇండస్ట్రీస్ కి కావాల్సిన ఫ్యూయల్ కి కావాల్సినటువంటి పంటల వైపు మళ్ళిస్తున్నారు. ముఖ్యంగా రైస్ అండ్ మెయిజ్ ని ఇథనాల్ ఇండస్ట్రీకి ఇవ్వడం అనేటువంటిది చాలా పెద్ద ఎత్తున జరుగుతున్నది. మెయిజ్ ని ప్రమోట్ చేయడం, రైస్ ని ప్రమోట్ చేయడం అనేటువంటి దాని వెనక ఇండస్ట్రీ అవసరాలు ఉన్నాయి తప్ప ఆహార భద్రత కాదు. ఎఫ్సిఐ దగ్గర ఉన్న బియ్యం విలువ 40 రూపాయలు, ఇథనాల్ ఇండస్ట్రీకి వాళ్ళు ఇస్తున్నది 22 రూపీస్ 50 పైసలు. ఏదైనా రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వం ఫుడ్ సెక్యూరిటీ కోసం రైస్ అడిగితే 27 రూపీస్కి ఇస్తుంది సెంటర్, ఇథనాల్ ఇండస్ట్రీకి 22 రూపీస్కి ఇస్తుంది. అంటే మనం పండిస్తున్నటువంటి పంట ఇండస్ట్రీ యొక్క ముడిసరుకుగా మారుతుందే కానీ అది ఫ్యూయల్ కోసం వెళుతుందే కానీ అమెరికాలో చాలా కాలం క్రితమే జరిగింది. ఇప్పుడు ఇండియాలో ఆ మోడల్ చాలా వేగంగా ఎక్స్పాండ్ అవుతుంది. దీని మీద ఆశా నెట్వర్క్ ఆలోచించాలని నేను అనుకుంటున్నాను. రెండోది, చాలా ఇండస్ట్రియలైజేషన్ పేరుతో, అర్బనైజేషన్ పేరుతో ల్యాండ్స్ అన్ని కూడా పక్కకు వెళ్ళిపోతూ పొల్యూటెడ్ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ రూరల్ ఏరియాకు వస్తున్నటువంటి స్థితి కూడా మేము చూస్తున్నాం. విపరీతమైనటువంటి పొల్యూటెడ్ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ వస్తున్నాయి. ఒక ఇండస్ట్రీ 30-40 గ్రామాల చుట్టూ ఉండేటువంటి ఎయిర్, వాటర్ అంతటిని కంటామినేట్ చేస్తుంది. మీరు ఆర్గానిక్ ఫార్మింగ్ అసలు చేయలేరు అక్కడ. మీ గ్రౌండ్ వాటర్ అంతా డిప్లీషన్ అవ్వడం ఒకటే కాదు, గ్రౌండ్ వాటర్ అంతా పొల్యూట్ అయిపోయినటువంటి పరిస్థితి. కంప్లీట్ గా మీరు ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ ని పాడు చేస్తున్నటువంటి ఇండస్ట్రియలైజేషన్ లో ఆర్గానిక్ అగ్రికల్చర్ ని, సస్టైనబిలిటీని గురించి మనం మాట్లాడేటప్పుడు ఈ డెవలప్మెంట్ మోడల్ ని కూడా మనం దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకొని మాట్లాడాల్సి ఉంటుంది అని నేను అనుకుంటున్నాను. ఆ అంశం కూడా ఆశా నెట్వర్క్ చర్చల్లోకి రావాలి అని కోరుకుంటున్నాను. రెండోది, ఇప్పటికీ కూడా ఆర్గానిక్ ఫుడ్ కానీ, కాటన్ క్లాత్స్ కానీ, ఆర్గానిక్ కాటన్ క్లాత్స్ కానీ, హ్యాండ్మేడ్ క్లాత్స్ కానీ అది పూర్కి అవైలబుల్గా లేవు, అఫోర్డబుల్గా లేవు. అంటే మన ఎఫర్ట్స్ అన్ని మనం ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేస్తున్నటువంటిది అబవ్ మిడిల్ క్లాస్ వాళ్ళకి, ధనికుల కోసం ఆర్గానిక్ ఫుడ్ ని, లేకపోతే హ్యాండ్మేడ్ క్లాత్స్ ని తయారు చేయడమా, లేకపోతే మనం ఎట్లా వాటిని తిరిగి ఒక మిడిల్ క్లాస్ అండ్ లోవర్ మిడిల్ క్లాస్ అండ్ పూర్ క్లాస్ కి ఈ అఫోర్డబిలిటీని తీసుకురావడానికి మనం ప్రయత్నాలు చేస్తాం. ఇట్లాంటి సందర్భం వచ్చినప్పుడల్లా మనం అందుకే ప్రభుత్వ రంగంలో ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ల గురించి మాట్లాడతాము. ఆ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ల గురించి ఆశా నెట్వర్క్ కూడా మాట్లాడాలి. ఆర్గానిక్ అగ్రికల్చర్ ప్రమోషన్ అయినా ఏపీ మోడల్ చూసాం. వాళ్ళు దాదాపు 2000 కోట్లు అప్పు చేసి ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేశారు. ఇతర ఏ రాష్ట్రం చేయలేదు. అయినా కూడా వాళ్ళు ఇంకా 10-15%, 20% దగ్గర ఉన్నారు. అంటే ఎంత హ్యూజ్ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్స్ ఉంటే ప్రభుత్వం వైపు నుంచి అంతగా ఆర్గానిక్ ఫార్మింగ్ ప్రమోట్ అయ్యే అవకాశం ఉంది. లేకపోతే ఇండివిజువల్ ఆర్గానిక్ ఫార్మర్స్ గా మాత్రమే మిగిలిపోతారు. వాళ్ళు కూడా సస్టైన్ కాదు, వాళ్ళ మార్కెట్ సస్టైన్ కాదు. అందుకని ప్రభుత్వం ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ చాలా పెద్ద ఎత్తున పెట్టాలనేటువంటిది మనం అడుగుతాం. కొంతమంది ఎన్జిఓస్కి ఇష్టం ఉండదు, మనం అంతా సొంత కాళ్ళ మీద నిలబడాలి, ప్రభుత్వం మీద ఆధారపడకూడదు అనేది కొంతమంది ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ ఉంటుంది. నేను దాన్ని డినై చేస్తాను. ఎందుకంటే ప్రభుత్వం చేతుల్లో బడ్జెట్స్ ఉంటాయి, ప్రభుత్వం చేతుల్లో ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ ఉంటుంది, ప్రభుత్వం చేతుల్లో రిసోర్సెస్ ఉంటాయి. కనుక అవి తప్పకుండా స్మాల్ అండ్ మార్జినల్ ఫార్మర్స్ కి ఆర్గానిక్ వైపు తీసుకెళ్ళడానికి, వాళ్ళకి మార్కెట్ క్రియేట్ చేయడానికి మనం అడగాల్సి ఉంటుంది అని నేను అనుకుంటున్నాను. ఇటువంటి కాన్ఫరెన్స్ లో అలాంటి విషయాలు కూడా మరింతగా చర్చల్లోకి రావాలి. ఇదేదో కొంతమంది యాక్టివిస్టులు మాట్లాడతారు, మనం మిగతా వాళ్ళు ఆర్గానిక్ ఫార్మింగ్ మాట్లాడతామంటే కుదరదు. యాజ్ ఎ సివిలియన్స్ మనం అందరం కూడా దీని మీద మాట్లాడాలని కోరుతూ ముగిస్తున్నాం.
Thank you very much, Ravi Garu. You have given us quite a lot to think about. And one of the things that he mentioned is the recent Indo-US trade deal. And like he was mentioning, through this deal, there is a threat that we may have GM crops, and we still don't know the final details of the deal. It is possible that the interests of the farmers will be diluted. So while it is important that we raise slogans, we raise our voice, it is far more effective when we also follow it up by actually meeting our elected representatives, whoever you know locally, whether it is at your panchayat, at your district, if you know the MLA, you know the MP, you know a minister, please write letters to them, meet them, tell them what you think about these issues. And these are the ways that you can support Asha, make this work, take this work forward and make it stronger for organic and ecological food to spread in India. And some other things that we can do is also collect evidence. Recently, like Kavita was sharing earlier, the government has done it quite quietly, but they have withdrawn food fortification, something that we have been saying for very long that we don't want. And this has really been a victory for all of us. And this has been done by building a lot of evidence. So by all of you, by building alternatives, by collecting evidence, you can support Asha's work. And I hope all of you have joined the WhatsApp group. There is a QR code you would have got in your registration kit. Through that, you can join the WhatsApp group. We'll be in touch with you. We'll keep sending you information about all these issues. And through this way, we can collectively ensure that organic slowly spreads and becomes more mainstream in India. And to talk about these issues more, to reflect not just on the sammelan, but also the context, the larger context in which the sammelan is taking place. I invite Sridhar now to come and share his thoughts. Sridhar wears many hats. Right now, he is wearing the hat of being a steering committee member of Asha. But as mentioned earlier also, he is very popular in Kerala and appears on TV often talking about all these issues, issues related to not just agriculture, but also environment. Yes, absolutely. So please, Sridhar. Yes.
First of all, thank you for the two good words. See, I mean, earlier also Kavita Kuduti, whenever she's introducing me, off late, she's saying that I'm appearing in TV. I mean, seriously, this is an idiot box. And appearing in an idiot box is like, you know what. So that's one thing. Yeah, quite okay. The second thing about, I mean, fighting, what is it, elections. So I was quipping the other day when somebody was seriously somebody was telling me, you should fight elections. I said, if I stand in a constituency all the supporters of me, environmentalists, agricultural supporters, etc., from across the state have to come to the constituency and vote, and maybe I'll get the money back. That's the situation. So let's also be very realistic about it. The fight is on a different front. So thank you very much for this opportunity. It's more like, see, because of the hats thing, no, I also wear this Asha hat, and so I would rather stand here as an Asha person in that sense, and then see where we can consolidate some of the thoughts that have happened in the last 3 days here. One has been exemplary. It's been one of the best probably. And the responses that I have got talking to a lot of people has been very, very positive, lots of excitement. But what does all this excitement mean? So I sort of jotted down whatever comes in my mind, and I'll be probably half reading it and half extemporing. See, over the last 3 days, for me, it was just not another sammelan. Okay, we are all, for years, we've been doing this now. So it's much more significant for me. And we are not just discussing agriculture. So if you're thinking that Kisan Swaraj Sammelan is about agriculture alone or thinking about that, no. I thought this is fundamentally about defending the question of life itself on this nation, in the state, the nation, and the earth, in some sense. That are the kind of things that we actually discussed. See, across sessions, we did seeds, we talked about seeds, HT crops, labor, wildlife conflicts, markets, gene editing. I'm just trying to, bring some of our thoughts back into the last 3 days as well. Trade. While all of this were separate sectoral or discussions, it is in some sense different expressions of the same reality. And that is where the political question comes, and that is what Nachiket introduced me as an activist. I'll don that hat as well and talk about it, a political activist perhaps. And what is that reality? The reality is that we are dealing with an agriculture system that is ecologically unsustainable. It's been going on for decades and almost nearing 50, 70 years. It's been economically unjust. It continues to be that, and socially fragmented. So if there is one thing that this sammelan, all of us, made it clear, it is this, that the crisis that we are facing, and I know that the sammelan had a lot of wonderful feeling, and I'll come to that. But I'm starting with the crisis that we are facing is not sectoral. It is systemic. Why I'm saying this? Because some discussions on labor was happening, and then there was this whole question of caste. That's why I'm saying it's not standing sectorally. It's a systemic problem. It has to be seen in some unison. Seeds are being controlled. We know markets are being captured. Labor is being displaced or devalued. Lots of manipulations happening there. Biodiversity is being eroded. And from policy point, HT crops to GN editing to free trade agreements, the latest big challenge, huge challenge. It's not easy. The free trade agreement session had a few people, but after the session, the shock on the faces of our friends who were listening to was shocking for us also in some sense. It's all pushing agriculture into one direction, and that's something that we have to recognize. And this is not happening by accident. There is a purposeful, maybe that's the right word, of pushing, restructuring agriculture. And this is a larger political economic question that we better realize, into a controlled industrial system. And me being an engineer and a computer engineer, I'll come to a little bit of that later, where decisions are moving further and further away from the farmers, in spite of the fact that claims of the governments are decentralization, more inclusive, all these words will come. Simply speaking, seed control, data control, market control, farmer disposition. That's what. And we know how it's happening, whether it be the push to herbicide-tolerant agriculture, crops, or chemicals like glyphosate, which we are continuing to fight, and we need to intensify that fight, or promoting gene editing, which we are still nowhere, we are still have to fight that, or fortified food program, they have stopped it, but stopped it not for the reasons that we are talking about, or even organic certification. They have done all the organic, look at the way they are talking about certification. These are not isolated developments. They are different pathways for the governments and the corporate bodies and all those systems that I'm talking about to control our agriculture, food and farmers. That noose is tightened. But what I am saying now, right now, is just half the story. Because the other half was in the Kisan Swaraj sammelan here. It is sitting here now, some of us, and the others have gone out, but that is the other half. That's what we saw here. And I'm probably going to relate a little bit of that. These are farmers who have come here, most of them, or almost all of them, all of us. We're not waiting for solutions, if you look at it and try to analyze a little bit of that. They're already building the solutions, even the resistance. So community seed systems, non-chemical weed management, we saw all that here, no? From labor collectives to direct markets to local initiatives of landscape level transformation, Dantewada. These are all working realities that are there. They're all alternatives, but they're also resistances. So let us be clear that the future is not an imagination. It is already being practiced by all of us. And that is the role that Asha, when they brought in all this as a sammelan or been bringing in, we are seeing. But we also need to be very honest with ourselves. Powerful examples we have put here, and we have demonstrated in our panel sessions also, a lot of discussions happen. But all these examples, even a big Dantewada example or a Andhra Pradesh model, are still scattered. I'm not talking about building it to scale. I'm not talking about having a huge landscape of change. But all these islands have to become, at some point, a continent of islands. That is the thing that we have to look at. The question would be, we were talking about agroecology, Parmayan, you talked about agroecology. So the question is not whether it will work or not work and all that. It's more like how fast, because that we know, now we know how to do it. If somebody is coming and saying that, is it possible? It's an archaic question. Somebody is saying organic farming will succeed or not, it's an archaic question. Because we have hundreds and thousands of examples now. I mean, in Kerala, we have a planning board member who continues to say that organic farming is not possible. We have told him that I will give you 50 examples in Kerala, come with me. They don't want to because that is not their worldview at all. Entrenched fossil. Forget. They will be dug up later they'll be excavated later to be, researched and all that. Why they were fossils at all. Forget. See, we have to move from practice to, and this is very important for me, from the Asha point also. The power is awareness, even though we are all doing this. So how do we transform this practicing thing that we are all doing to the question of power? Which means basically that we have to become a collective force. I'm not talking about one big another organization. It need not be. But a collective force is a different matter, and I'll come to that. It means stronger federations. It means across district states, bringing farmer groups together, collectives, organizations, which we are already doing, the whole process of collectivization. Now, we have always heard the word aggregation, no? For me, aggregation is not about commodity. It's about strength. The question is, unless we aggregate our strength, and we are very strong, and then confront the system, I am sure we'll be able to outscale it. See, the second point that I want to say is about seed sovereignty, and I'll make it short now. Wonderful work happened. Hundreds and thousands of seeds concept. Even in Tamil Nadu, if I know, it's a revolution happening in Tamil Nadu. We need to turn it into a mass movement of diverse, dispersed people all over, silently building all these sprouts like fungus in mycelium networks, if you know how myceliums work. And that will be the mass movement that we have to talk about in the next 3 years. Every village building up their seed systems, every farmer having access to diverse and collecting and conserving it and building resilient systems, resilient agriculture in between, resilient climate systems, all that. Eventually regaining control of the seeds in spite of whatever the central government does or the state government does. They'll bring the seed laws. This is the power with which we'll have to take on them. It's not just a policy question. It has to be a movement question. Reclaiming the markets becomes important. Direct farmer-consumer relationships, local trust-based economies, collective market system. We saw that. Basically, markets serving the farmer and not the other way around. Even today, the best economists in the country talk about market economy and market systems, but their market thinking is a different way. It is to exploit the farmer. How do we break that? Is a very, very important question. We saw some great models. Fourthly, the whole question of labor was discussed here. Labor exchanges, collective farming models, new ways of bringing youth into agriculture. But one important thing, and interestingly, the sammelan grounded, literally foregrounded labor in the sammelan, which is very important, like the human-animal conflict issue. A couple of issues we foregrounded this time in the sammelan, which I think was very good to be done. But we must understand that agriculture must become, why use the word labor positive, purposefully I'm using it, because we are keeping still labor out of agriculture, kind of. And this is the union that has to happen. In many places, we are demonstrating that, and that I think is very important. Fifthly, I'll come to the state. I don't think we should depend on the state. There are great policies, programs that will support the transition that we are talking about. We must be able to influence them. But we must also be ready to question and resist. And that's what Asha has also been doing throughout. And I reiterate some of the things that Nachikeet said, whether it be on pesticides or herbicides like glyphosate, inappropriate technological interventions, drones wherever necessary or unnecessary, agri-stacks and big-time digitization. We call it bio-digitization because the biological part of it is becoming very important in the digitization of the genetics and all that. Distorted certification systems, food policies like the fortification, everything killing diversity and local control has to be questioned. We have all organized ourselves from the ground. Nobody has helped us. So if somebody comes and says that we drove the policy and hence the change, I'm sorry. This thing happened from the ground. The organic movement, natural farming movement, agroecological movement, seed sovereignty, question for seed conservation, everything happened from the ground from all of us. And the governments have to start listening to it. That is the way this has to be driven, and driven more powerfully so that it gets established. So, and while we're questioning the policy, we should understand that policy is never neutral. It is power and it will reflect power. And if that power is not good for us, we challenge it. That's where the interactions and the engagements with the state have to be. And that is something that Asha will continue to do. And lastly, knowledge sovereignty. Why I'm bringing it here? Because that is where the big money is, the big data is, the big data sectors are coming up. The water depletion, the electricity depletion, everything is going to come up. What is the alternative to it? We need to seriously think about the alternatives, because in every other thing we have built alternatives. But the alternative to that also is here. Hundreds and thousands of knowledge, pockets of knowledge sitting among all of us. It need not and should not probably be integrated into one place somewhere and then we are all going to, that's not the point. How do we actually, think about, a knowledge sovereignty question? I mean, it's very similar to this question of policy sovereignty. Now, when an Indo-US deal or an Indo-EU deal comes, what are the first casualties? It's not just about, milk coming in or maize coming in or GM coming in. No, they are fundamentally changing the way policy on agriculture will be drawn by the country. We will be losing what I want to call a policy sovereignty. The right for India and its parliamentarians and its elected representatives and all of us to make policy. Even that is being taken away by a dirty deal. Please go into the deal and see that. That is what Indo-US deal is doing. Nothing less than that. And that is sovereignty loss. And you can call it Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, each state has its own, big slogan, but it means nothing. It just means that we are selling it up. So let's realize that. I'll finish it now. And all this is happening, vocabulary is great. On the text, they'll write 500 billion America will buy. And then in the speech, they'll say, no such guarantee. Text will go back, it's there. So the tricking of the lies that they tell us also, it's all eating into our sovereignty systems. So where do we stand at the end of these 3 days? Two pathways are visible for me. One is an extractor centralized control model, very, very dangerous, getting more and more dangerous and sinister. And then we have an ecological, decentralized, rooted in communities model. Let's start seriously believing in it. And anything that touches it is as strong in this country as nationalism. Nationalism, they say nationalism, patriotism. What is this nationalism, patriotism? If we are going to sell off our ecological, worth, or our right to make policies, our right to make decisions, our right to be decentralized and thinking about our roots. So that is where we will have to really, really look at. So it's not an abstract choice, very clear choice. And this is something we go back to Gandhi or Kumarappa and actually say that these choices are always there. Inch by inch, they are degrading it and denuding it. That's where we will have to fight it. That's where our big struggles are. So for my part, and this is also somewhere with Asha aligning with Asha and also, I want to say it like it is my part. And why am I saying, and I'm going to talk about 2-3 things. Why am I saying it's my part? Because I want all of you to also think about what will be your part of it. What is the responsibility you are going to take about? So I'll talk about 3 parts, 3 responsibilities I will take, which means that I'm also looking at all of you sitting here or going back and resolving to do at least 2-3 things. 1, to continue strengthening farmer-led institutions, knowledge systems, especially that which can take agroecology to scale in meaningful ways. To continue questioning and challenging policies and practices that undermine seed sovereignty, biosafety, farmer rights, food systems, chemical-intensive approaches, inappropriate technology, any sort of wrong policy interventions. Thirdly, and to work towards building a stronger connection across regions so that our efforts do not remain isolated, but become aggregated, collective strength and force. I am resolving to do that. Can you all talk about I'm resolving to do that? If you all want to do that, then please, I don't want a clap, a clap in the end, give a clap now. Powerfully. If you are all resolving it. If you all think that you will do something like that, which I just resolve from me. Let me end it now. Thank you for this. The system we are confronting is very powerful, unbelievably powerful, and it's getting powerful by the day. What we are building for good's sake is something which is alive, which is biological, which is thriving and living on the ground, from the soil down, like what Julie talked about. And it's growing up. It is the only thing probably alive if you compare to what power is like. Power is not alive. Living systems, when they connect, when they organize, when they grow, are very difficult to defeat. We heard animal brings. Any technology you bring, animal will adapt and override it. Something like that. The work ahead, and this is I want to remind all of you, is very, very complicated. It is not small at all. But I also am relieved that I want to repeat that the strength in the room is also not small. Thank you.
I thank all the speakers for really giving us a lot to think and reflect about, from the overall status of agroecology to Asha specifically, what we can do individually. On many fronts, there is a lot for us to think about, reflect, and then finally act. So I thank all of you for all the thoughts that you shared. A couple of announcements before I carry on. The first is that after this plenary is over, we still have a few minutes before the plenary ends. But once it is over, right outside, we will try and take a group photo. So not right now, but after the plenary is over, I invite all of you to come outside. Outside is where you're doing, no? Yeah. So please come outside and we will try to get a group photo. And after the group photo, just at the lobby itself, Venki and Anant will be having a session on agripreneurship. Anybody interested in entrepreneurship in agriculture, there will be a session that has emerged organically out of the convention, not pre-planned. So please, those of you who are interested, after the group photo, that session will be right outside in the lobby. But one cannot end without first thanking. I mean, there are so many moving parts to making this possible that it's quite, I think, impossible to even conceptualize. I mean, to state what all it takes to bring this together. And therefore, there is a long list of people who have made this possible, who we have to be grateful for. And really, I should begin with the place that we are in, KSOU. Specifically, I would like to thank the Vice Chancellor and all the other officials. Please put your hands together to thank all these people, the Vice Chancellor, all the other officials, Dr. Santosh Nayak of Prasaranga in particular, and his team consisting of Muni Swami and all the others. Within KSOU, we also thank the audiovisual studio for live casting and video documentation that they are doing. All the plenary sessions are available on YouTube, on the KSOU channel, additionally also on the Asha channel. And then we would also like to thank the convocation auditorium team led by Vikas, and that includes many people, including Nitin and others who are sitting upstairs. They've all been extremely cooperative on stage, in the control room, and everywhere. We also thank all our speakers. Most of them spend their own resources to come to the sammelan. Some of them have even paid a registration fee. We thank people like Vijay Kumar Garu, Devasena Patiji, senior bureaucrats who have made time to come for 2 days and be with all of us to share their journeys. Also, Gopal Bhai Sutaria for coming all the way from Gujarat. We also thank all the facilitators of all the sessions for doing a wonderful job of creating interactive and lively sessions. We also thank the lead discussants, some of whom are veteran players in the social sector, for being a part of the sammelan. We thank Dr. K. Ramakrishnappa specifically, even though he's an integral part of Asha and an organizer himself, but he and his team worked for a full week, once again spending their own resources to set up a live demonstration and very interesting space on urban gardening. We thank Desiri Navina and his team for setting up the live Gana. If there is any way to thank the lovely bullocks which were at work, we would like to do that too. We thank all the stallholders for the immense care with which they have worked. We hope they will not lower the bar that Asha set of full organicity and no plastic or flex wherever they go, and not just in this sammelan. We also thank all the seed savers for all the conservation work that they are doing. We thank the artists who performed for us. Through their art, they try to awaken our deeper thinking. Vasu Dikshit, Shrija, Krishi Patashala, Suhasni Kolgi, Abhivekti Center for Art and Culture. We also thank the Beru Bevara team of Chandru and other artists for their songs over all the 3 days. The messages were very powerful and really we enjoyed their singing. So please put your hands together. We'd also like to thank Chitrika, Samyukta, and the team of 3 hand spinners from Konduru area for their Patanulu work. We thank the potter Venkatesh for his pottery workshops. And we thank the translators who were tirelessly at work. Many of you were able to hear and follow what was going on because of the work being done by the translators. Dwiji, Karthik, Ashalata, Kiran, Kavita, Ravi Garu, Amulya, Rafi, Usha, Rambabu, Sai Kiran, Brahmesh, Prafulla, Sharad, Amjad, Pyati, Indu, Sujay, Pradeep, Santosh, Kolgi, Arivarasan, Sabri, Shivakumar, Aishwarya, Apshana, Anjana, Amina, Bijishna, Sarita, Shri Chandra, and many others. And specifically, we thank Kavita Srinivasan for setting up this entire translation system and all the volunteers who went and helped people set up Zoom on their phones and understand how to listen to the various channels for the different languages. We thank Guru Swami, the farmer who decorated outside and on stage, really beautiful, wonderful work, reminding us of our cultural heritage, and the Krishikala team of Seema and others for adding color and beauty to the sammelan. We thank Dose, the artist, for their beauty too. We thank Janani Bharat, Sunita Rao, and Dr. Sivamuthu Prakash for choosing to release their books and reports in this sammelan. The knowledge repository with us got strengthened by your contributions. Thank you. We want to thank K. Manu for the Chitrotsava that he organized. So many people turned up and watched it, and they've even watched it on YouTube. So really thank you for putting it up. And then our volunteers, I mean, really, they've done a fantastic job quietly. Thank you to all the volunteers and also to the exhibition committee of Nivedita, Mallikarjuna, and Sridevi, and Harshil. Okay, Harshil for all the coordination that he did. Darshan Babu, he has taken on multiple tasks and roles. Salman of Bhumi Basket, Abhilash of Namma Farmers Market for handling all the food arrangements, Vibha Acharya of the Organic Cafe and Bake House, Vedant and his team. Then we would also like to thank the Sahaja Samruja team who volunteered so responsibly. Shanta Kumar, Sachin Gowda, Shivarudra, Manju, Komal Kumar, Bindu, Manjula, Neelamma, Radhika, Sneha, Shivana Gowda, Manjunath, Mehboob, Suryakant, Sahadev, Vaswaraja, Ravi Kumar, Sridevi. Thanks to all of you. And then also all the volunteers of the Hosa Jeevana Dari's young team in their Jeevana Shale, Sumanas Kolagi, Prashant, Suman, Pawan, Puneet, Hemant, Razik, Vikas, Roshan, Hemant Kumar, Pushkara, Preetham, Lokesh. Really, they've been extremely dependable, and that this has been possible is because of the selfless voluntary work that so many people have put in. Charvi and Rajni on stage, Hemant Bansal and Paras Jain for generously giving vehicles, arranging medical help. We would like to thank the Srinidhi of the Socrates Foundation, Ranjit of the Puttanaya Foundation. They have been readily supporting for various tasks. And then lastly, I would like to also specifically call on to stage some people to thank them. Maybe, yeah, the dignitaries on stage right now, maybe you could step down and I will call some others onto stage if you don't mind. Thank you. We would like to call on stage Saurabh, Sahani and Kavita Srinivasan. Please, we are coming to the end. I know it's a long list, but now please continue clapping because these people have really put in a lot of hard work. These two have been the strongest pillars behind this whole effort. And I don't know how many tasks they have handled, innumerable tasks. And also, I would like to invite all the ASHA steering group members who are present here. Please come on stage, and I would request all of you to please put your hands together for Krishna Prasad, Saja Samruddha, without whose support in Mysore, this sammelan would not have been possible. Rajesh Krishnan, Sridhar, Anantu, Usha, Kapil Bhai, who left last night, but Kiran, Selvam, please come on stage. Please. Please. Selvam, Devi, Somek, Harsha is upstairs. Harsha, Kavita, please come on stage. And also, although not necessarily a part of the ASHA steering committee, Santosh Kolegi, please come on stage. And also Dr. Ramakrishnappa, please, on stage. Dr. Ramakrishnappa. Please. So that if anybody has any complaints, they know who's responsible. And also really without all of you, I mean, all of you have contributed and been a part of this, and it would not have been possible without the participants, without all of you signing up, and not just signing up. Many of you have gone much beyond that, and really this happens because all of you participate in this with your mind and heart. Without all of you, this would not have been possible. And lastly, we should also thank our donors. The list is outside, but in addition to that, about 60, 70 people have donated and given another 26,000 yesterday. The names are outside on the board, but there is still a shortfall. So if anybody would still like to contribute, we would invite further contributions. And if anyone's name has been forgotten, sincere apologies, but really, it's such a long list of people who make this possible that it might be inevitable that one or two have been missed. Yes. So, but really, so there's no more people to thank. You can really give a loud round of applause now.
We are showing our faces not to be thanked, but to issue a threat that will chase you. We'll chase you until we collectively achieve some things. Thank you.
To conclude, conclude this final discussion. It's not yet over. The panel is not yet over. The sammelan is designed in such a way that we discuss the pressing issues of our farming community, both organic and chemical. Then at the end, we are discussing about what should be the future path and all that. Organic is not just about doing organic farming in an organic way. It's much more than that. Organic is multidisciplinary, multi-dimensional, etc., etc. In the childhood, we have heard about the story. We have read about the story that a poor visually impaired person exploring an elephant. We are all exploring the organics like those guides. It's a multidisciplinary one. It's social, it's ecological, it's spiritual, it's a health, it's a natural resource management, it's a revolutionary, it's a politics, it's a social psychology, etc., etc. It's multidimensional. It is local, it's state, regional level, it's state level, it's a national level, it's global level, and the planetary level also. So the future path is multidimensional also. Our friend Sridhar has slightly told about the thirst that we are all facing at local level, at national level, and global level. And organics is the solutions also. The solutions of the multiple problems of our society, of our country, of our planet, of our village, of equity, of social justice, etc., etc., of managing our social natural resources at the local level, at the state level, at the national level.